Week 7. Welcome. It was a rough week. I hope you can hear me over the wind. It's kind of windy today. I'm in the forest behind my house because there's no more snow. I mean, there's a little bit of snow. It snowed last night, but there's not enough snow for me to go out on my snowmobile, so I'm gonna have to start figuring out new ways to do this, new places to do this. So I'm in my backyard now. And it's windy, which is beautiful. I love the sound of wind in the trees. Hopefully you can hear me over the wind. Hopefully there isn't too much wind noise coming through the microphone. But I want to do things a little bit differently this week. I want to I've made some notes for myself, and I want to actually go through those notes and try to make a structured video here. So here we go. We'll see what happens. I want to try to do it without too much editing. I still like the idea of long form to get all my quirks in the video, but we'll see. Maybe I'll do some editing, maybe not. I guess we'll find out once the finished product is released. But a little bit of an introduction to this video. So week 7, still no pot, which is good, and it's not really an issue, which is also good. So on that front, everything's fine. But I was sick this week. I had a cold or something. I felt rough most of the week. Still getting over it, and it made it hard for me to follow through on a lot of things that I wanted to do. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. I wasn't as unproductive as I wasn't as productive as I wanted to be, because I was sick. And I want to break that down into, my 5 categories of growth, and try to record that. So when it comes to my habits, wasn't very good with, for the most part, I stayed out of my bad habits. Although I did eat a lot of comfort food this week. I had a lot of sugary things, still eating the Girl Guide cookies, but I got them out of my system for the most part. But then once the Girl Guide cookies were over, bought some Nanaimo bars, and then after the Nanaimo bars, just other things and candy, sugar. I had a hard time with that this week. I didn't notice it make me feel all that much worse, because I already felt pretty bad this week. So I didn't have that bad feeling afterwards, that hangover to help me stop. But that's something I need to take care of. And I also ate some chips and had some pop and a lot of bad things. But and that leads me into my mental strength. Mental strength building, because when I'm sick, I'm weak. I'm weaker. I don't have the strength I normally do, and because of that, I don't have the strength to stop myself from doing the things I don't want to do. I'd like to build that strength into my life eventually. That's my goal, is to have the strength that when I go through weak moments, I don't cave and do the things that I don't want to do. But it also needs to be a balance, because I don't have that strength yet. when I get weak and tired, my neuroticism starts to take over. I get low self-esteem. I'm anxious, I'm irritable, I get angry, and I don't respond well to stressors. And having kids, Allison, my wife, was away over the last weekend, kind of during the worst of how I felt. So I was taking care of the kids on my own, and I couldn't maintain that neurotic behavior. It wasn't good for me, it wasn't good for my kids. So I had to do something about it. And I found that the reason a big reason that I was feeling that way was because I didn't want to stop performing. I didn't want to accept that I was having a weak moment. And fighting that weak moment, there's times where it's good to fight that weak moment, but sometimes I need the balance. I need to worry about the balance more. And I found once I accepted that I was weak, having a weak moment, and I stopped worrying that I wasn't accomplishing what I wanted. Once I accepted that, my neuroticism started to go away. I was more caring to myself mentally, and my mental issues started to disappear. So there's a balance there. And like I said, I'd like to get to the point where I have the strength to overcome these things during my weak moments. But I'm not there yet. And I have to accept that sometimes and not fight it, because it makes the situation worse. And especially when I have to take care of my kids, they're more important than me overcoming my issues. Making sure I take care of them properly and, I give them a good life. So there's that. Physical strength. I didn't do any training this week. I didn't do any exercise. Same sort of idea as the mental strength. I was in a weak moment, and fighting that weak moment fed my neuroticism. So I needed to just accept that that's how things were, and accept that's the way it was, and do what I need to do to keep my mental stability in check. And exercise just took too much energy out of me. Now, on the flip side of things, as much as I was weak, I also felt much stronger than what I'd feel when I was sick in the past. So I had some technical difficulties there. My phone couldn't handle how cold it was, so it turned off on me. Now it's snowing. And the lens seems to be getting covered. So hopefully I can get through this before you can't see me anymore. So anyways, what I was saying was, even though I didn't exercise and build my physical strength this week, I felt, I could feel that I've built my physical strength. I could feel that I've been building it, physical and mental strength, because even though I was sick this week, I worked all week with no issues. I had 5 good days of work. And I run my own business now, so I don't get sick days. I have to work if I want to make money, and I did, and I worked hard, and it felt great. I was dead by the time I got home at the end of the day, but that's something I couldn't have done before. So I'm really happy about that, and I really feel like I'm building myself. So that was great. That helped my self-esteem this week. Business building. Similar, again, to the other aspects. I didn't do a whole lot on business building this week, and I specifically I didn't put any focus time on my business building. But my mind's always running, especially when I have a problem to solve, and especially when I've started to develop a strategy. My mind just keeps running and trying to make that strategy better, optimize, make it more efficient, find solutions. And one thing I did the previous week was use ChatGPT and work with ChatGPT to build a 20-step process to building a business based off my passions and my strengths. And I got it to develop a 20-step process, and for each step, I had ChatGPT recommend a book that I could read to learn about that step. And the first step was figuring out what my strengths are, because when I know what my strengths are, then I can build a business that will optimize my strengths. Or build a business optimized around my strengths. So the book it suggested was Strengths Finder 2.0 by Gallup. They do surveys and things like that. And I read the book. I took the test, my strength test, to find out what my top 5 strengths were. And my top 5 strengths are strategic, deliberate, relator, restorative, and futuristic. And this morning I was having a low point. I was starting to think about actually all this week, I guess, what I'm doing, the strategies I'm building. Does it really make sense? Am I wasting my time? Like, why am I doing this? But when I did that test, I realized that the strategic strength is my top strength. This is exactly what I should be doing. And a lot of the time, people will tell me, stop planning so much, Steve, and just do things. That's the strength of other people. There's other people who that's their strength. They go out and they do things, and they're great at it. It's not my strength. It's not my top strength. My top strength is to strategize. And a lot of times I stop my strategy session short because I get anxious and I want to start doing things. But now I realize strategizing is what I'm supposed to do. So, and it's what I'm good at. It's what my personality and my, all the things I do in my life, the way I live my life makes me a good strategizer. So there we go. So that was really nice to find out. And it made me realize that I'm using my strengths, which is great. Finally, passion projects. Didn't do a whole lot, just like every other aspect, but I did something. And you know what? I touched on everything this week, which is great. Again, not deliberately, but I did it nonetheless, which is great. I can feel good about that. And what I did this week for my passion projects is work on my M3. It was warm this week. Got up to 20 degrees. Yeah, it's pretty warm for here in April. And I charged the battery. I got the car started. I haven't started the car for nearly 6 months. So I got the car started, let it warm up, gave it a few revs, and just got to appreciate my car again, which was amazing. And it gives me the motivation to go. I want to go do more. So that's what I'll do this week. I'm gonna work on that a little bit, and again, touch on everything else too. And looking back on this week and how I didn't do as much as I would have liked, but then realizing that even though I didn't do as much as I wanted, I still touched on everything. That's amazing. And part of that is because I'm planning, because I'm figuring out what those aspects are that I want to hit every week. And then without even purposely doing it, I still hit everything on that list, which is great. So I'm going to keep going on this path, keep doing these things, keep moving forward, and build my dreams. Here we go. Take care, everyone. Love you all. Till next time.